The voice is ready.
Sir, good to start.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you are very much audible. Am I audible to you? Sir, can I
Now the
start?
background noise has gone.
There is a background noise. And we are already live.
Audible.
Yeah, now better. Hello, everyone. I'm Kalpana Chaudhary, founder of Social Tables, managing trustee and chairperson of Jan Seva Foundation, Being the Change, and Lagna.com. Lagna.com is a matrimony portal for differently able cancer and acid attack survivors. Also, co-chairman of ASSOCHAM Jharkhand State Women Entrepreneur Development Council, member at FICCI Flow, CII, IWN Maharashtra, Women Economic Forum, and a TEDx speaker.
Now I am audible?
Yes, sir, I've already started. So can I start again? Sir, I think there's some technical issue. Let us fix this first. Sir, you're audible. Can I start?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Can I start? We are live on Facebook.
Hello?
Sir, we are live on Facebook. Can I start?
Hello?
Hello?
You are not audible.
Sir, you will have to fix it from there because everything is right over here. We just
Not
checked.
getting your voice.
Maybe your speakers aren't working well with you. So you can just remove the speaker. आप स्पीकर निकाल दीजिए सर.
हाँ जी, अभी आ गया.
हाँ, all right.
हाँ.
शुरू करो.
हाँ जी, मेरा आवाज सुनाई दे रहा है आपको?
जी 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 सुनाई दे रहा है.
जी जी.
शुरू
ओके.
करो.
हाँ जी, प्लीज.
Namaskar. Hello everyone. I'm Kalpana Chaudhary, founder of Social Tables, managing trustee and chairperson of Jan Seva Foundation, Being the Change, and Lagna.com. Lagna.com is a matrimony portal for differently able cancer and acid attack survivors. Also co-chairman of ASSOCHAM Jharkhand State Women Entrepreneur Development Council, member at FICCI Flow, CII, IWN Maharashtra, Women Economic Forum, and a TEDx speaker. Before diving into the guest introduction, I would like to take a moment to introduce you with Social Tables. Social Tables is committed to sustainable development program with societal well-being and environmental consciousness. Every week, we bring out to you some of the brightest minds from diverse sector to discuss over few significant ongoing issues. In this week, speaker series, we have a guest, Honorable Chairman Board of Governors, Central Council of Indian Medicine, Ministry of Ayush, Shri Vaidya Jain Dio Pujari ji. Shri Dio Pujari ji is a consultant Ayurvedic physician and a researcher since last 35 years. Currently, he's serving as a chairman board of governors Central Council of Indian Medicine, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, New Delhi. Being an earnest researcher, he has associated with the Research Center of Central Indian Institute of Medical Science, Nagpur, and a Tertiary Care Neurology Hospital as a research committee member, animal ethics committee member, and a chairman of Institutional Ethics Committee. He's been recognized as Guru of Rashtriya Ayurveda Vidyapeeth, New Delhi, under Ministry of Ayush. Shri Dio Pujari ji has worked as an expert on WHO Expert Consultation meeting for developing WHO documents regarding benchmark for practice in Ayurveda Panchakarma and updating of Ayurveda training document December 2019, co-chair of the Asia Pacific Quality Registrate Review Panel for Eurasian Center for Accreditation and Quality Assurance in Higher Education and Healthcare, Kazakhstan, November 2019. Prime Minister Award Committee for Yoga Day 2020. Clinical experience spanning over 35 years. Ayurveda drug industry R&D expert and consultant from past 25 years with more than 50 products in the market. Former recognized PhD guide, Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapeeth Pune, previously PhD guide as Kalidas Sanskrit University, Ramtik till abolition of Ayurveda faculty, authored 8 books, out of which 2 received prestigious awards. Recipient of international award like Charak Samhita International Ayurveda Bhushan Award of Ayurveda Association and European Award, Ayurveda Academy Award. Recipient of Gold Medal for PhD thesis, Pune University, organized many conferences and conclave, including Swadeshi Mela, Arogya, Nagpur, October 2003, which was visited by over more than 350,000 people, published over 29 research papers in the national and international journals, and has Indian patent to his credit, attended more than 50 conferences, and the list goes on. A very warm welcome to you on our today's speaker series, sir. It's an utmost pleasure to have you here with us today. So in today's discussion, we are going to discuss about Ayurvedic wisdom for global health. Sir, to begin with, since you have been part of Ayurveda medication since many years, you have practiced as an Ayurvedic physician. Please tell us something about your journey. Sir, am I audible? Sir?
Hello.
Yes,
Please
sir.
repeat.
Sir, you have been associated with Ayurveda medicine. You're a practicing Ayurveda physician. Please tell us something about your journey. It's been like 3 decades. Am I audible, sir? Am I audible, sir?
Yes, few words I have missed because
Sir,
I think some connection.
All right. Since how many years you are practicing as Ayurvedic physician, sir? Oh, so there's some technical error again. Let us get this fixed quickly. सर की आवाज बराबर नहीं आ रही. एक्चुअली आई थिंक नेट का इंटरनेट का कुछ प्रॉब्लम है. वेट, लेट मी गो ऑफ. Am I audible?
Yes, but your voice is breaking. I am not getting your sentence actually.
So I think my side everything has been fixed. The net is amazing. Yeah, all is fixed, sir. I think you will just have to recheck your speaker. I think the speaker is creating a problem. आपको speaker तक आवाज नहीं पहुंच रही है. आप स्पीकर निकाल दीजिए, नॉर्मल रखते हैं सर.
No, I could not get your.
सर आप स्पीकर निकाल दीजिए.
हाँ.
स्पीकर
Okay.
की वजह से आवाज शायद. अब आ रही है आवाज?
हाँ अभी आती है लेकिन आपका आवाज बीच में टूट जाता है.
नहीं, अब नहीं टूटेगी बिकॉज आप स्पीकर पहना हुआ था. शायद आपका स्पीकर मे बी इट्स क्रिएटिंग सम प्रॉब्लम. नाउ बेटर?
Yes, it is better.
Yes. So, sir, since how many years you are practicing as Ayurvedic physician? Tell us something about your journey.
Yes, I became graduate in 1984, and I have completed my internship in 1985. And from 1985 to 1988, there one Vivekananda Medical Mission Hospital is there. So I worked there as a volunteer to serve the downtrodden Adivasi of that area. And since 1988, I am here in Nagpur. And since say 34 years in Nagpur only, or 35. So that is what my actually standing in clinical practice. And during my practice, I got associated with many people and many institutes. And gradually, I got interested in research and so many things, and the social work also. And that's how I came to this position. It's a long journey.
Wow, it's already been 3 decades. What an amazing journey. So the Ayurveda acceptance by people at large has emerged since last 20 years only. You are practicing since last more than 3 decades. What odds and difficulties you have faced in your early 10 to 15 years when practicing as Ayurvedic consultant was it very tough? So am I audible?
It is true that when I started my practice, the demand for Ayurveda was not that large or since last 20 years. But yes, at that time also, there was a demand because number of practitioners in my city were less, and people are well acquainted with Ayurveda since centuries or generations together. People are taking Ayurvedic medicine, and if they found a good physician or a Vaidya, then there is no problem for that Vaidya or a Ayurvedic physician to get the number of patients for his livelihood. That is what I understand. So the response right from the beginning to my practice was fairly good, and there was a gradual increase. As my experience increases, the number of patients gradually increases. That is what the normal phenomena, and that happens normally with everybody, all physicians of all patches. That is what I am. So there were no very difficult time in the beginning, as we normally think. But yes, the progress was gradual but steady.
And Ayurveda have always been an Asian practice also. So it should have been very easy for people to adapt it.
Sure. Because they already have a background and they are well aware about the Ayurveda practices and the old Vaidyas, and they must have heard about some Dada, Dadi and Nana, Nani.
Yes.
So a background of Ayurveda is already there in each and every family in India. That is what my experience.
Yes. So people at large believe that Ayurvedic practice is a blind practice. The patient doesn't know what medicine is prescribed by doctors, as most of the doctors make blend of Ayurvedic medicine and that undisclosed mixture is given to the patient. How did you manage transparency and clarity in your practice?
Actually, that was the practice since long. I think since centuries, you can say that was the practice in Ayurveda. And this was developed because of the each time and with the changing season and changing time and changing age and depending on the prakriti of that patient, that Vaidya has to prepare, or he has to prepare a tailor-made medicine for each and every individual each
Yes.
time, not only once, for each of.
Hmm. Sir, can you fix your internet? Such an
Some time or in recent past, and that was seen suspiciously.
Hmm.
So in the beginning of my practice, I decided to give prescription only. Let him purchase medicine from anywhere else, whichever company he wants. But I used to write my diagnosis, my investigations, my diagnosis, everything on the paper, and then my prescription. And I used to give, and still I am giving that paper to my patient. And this gives that initially even my friends, they told that if you disclose your medicines, then they will directly repurchase it, and there will be again a over the counter medicine practice and so on. But my experience is that nothing happened like that with me. And over a period of time, my patients started understanding that only medicines are not important. The logic behind and the diagnosis is also important.
True. So,
And then he purchased medicine from the market.
all right. So what made you thought of changing the academic curriculum of Ayurveda studies? You even wrote a book on this issue. You're not an academician from, but still you thought of changing the curriculum. Why? I mean, what made you do that?
See, there are two, three reasons. First, we have an organization called Ayurveda Vyaspeed. We believe that Ayurveda graduates should practice Ayurvedic medicine only. And the scenario that time, means 20 years back, was not that good and encouraging in the society. So we were searching for the reasons, and we found that the training which we are getting and encouragement we are getting from the college is not enough to give him confidence. So we decided to have a structure for all these practitioners, new practitioners. And we started the activities like clinical meetings and Samhita Adhyan and so many things we have started.
There's a
Every
Sir, can you just fix your net? थोड़ी आवाज टूटी सी आ रही है.
Now you are getting my voice.
ठीक है. या अब ठीक है सर.
So
Yeah.
we were working on this, creating a for the upcoming practitioners. That is what exactly we were doing. And during this period, we were thinking that why the students are not getting what they actually require to get from their college, the confidence, the everything, and the skills and all. And why informal this education structure out of the college, because now in many ways that the new graduates, they go there and they study with them, and then they get confidence, and then they come
Yes.
Ayurveda practice. That is what is happening. So
It was
because
less.
of this, I started studying what is the problem, and I spent almost 2 full years to read all the documents, because first document on Ayurvedic education is published in 1845. That time there was no.
Sir, the voice again. Sir, the
Now
net.
it is all right.
Yeah, now better. Yes, sir, better.
Just a minute, I will check.
Yeah.
It is all right. It is all right. There is no problem.
Yes, sir. Better? this again another technical?
So may I continue?
Yes, sir, you can. So, yeah. Yes, sir.
May I continue now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Better now.
So the first committee on Ayurveda education was long back in 1845, and from there to the recent, in that time recent in 2000. Was that time Prime Minister regarding higher education in Ayurveda, higher education in India. So till that time, I collected all documents and I studied those documents. And many committees and even the stalwarts in Ayurveda field, long back, there are many stalwarts. They wrote regarding Ayurveda education in vernacular language. It was in Marathi or Hindi or some other
Sanskrit.
languages and in small magazines. So I collected all those things and I studied all those things. And then I wrote that book. And I tried to find out the solution for this. And I am fortunate.
Sir, your voice. Yeah.
Chairman. Today I am chairman of Board of Governors CCI. So that is what actually I worked for.
तो ऐसा लगता है कि आपने एक तपस्या कर ली आयुर्वेदा में and here you are.
हाँ, ऐसा भी आप कह सकते हैं.
Yeah.
But when I worked for this book, I was not knowing that I will become a member of CCIM or I will become even the chairman.
Yeah, chairman. Sorry. Yes, yes. That's amazing, sir. And so despite you were not into academy, you tried for research validation of Ayurveda and its clinical activities. What inspired you to do so?
Actually, right from the beginning, I am very much interested in research, and now I think that aptitude.
Sir, थोड़ी net देख लीजिए, sir. It is a very interesting subject, and we don't want to miss out on anything. नहीं, मेरा नेट सही से चल रहा है तो
Now am
Yes.
I audible?
Yes,
May
sir.
I continue?
Yeah, now you can. So we were talking about your contribution in Ayurveda medicine. Sorry, not this. We were talking about despite you were not into academy, you thrived for research validation of Ayurveda and its clinical activities. So what inspired you? Sir?
May I continue?
Yes, sir. So what is your inspiration, sir?
Yes, actually my basic interest and as I am working as a physician, Ayurveda physician, that curiosity and questioning, these are the two basic prerequisites for to become a researcher. So I have that in my mind since my childhood, you can say that curiosity and questioning is always there with me, and I am fortunate enough, even I am holding that. I am very coming and many new researches that are coming up. So that is actually how I continue in the research.
That's so inspiring, sir. बचपन से ही आपके अंदर वो था.
Questioning and curiosity.
Curiosity.
These are the two important.
Yes, sir. So you contributed in Ayurvedic medicine formulation and its development. What motivated for this research and development activities?
Actually, I told you that I never prepared any. My practice was never a blind practice. I never
Yes.
prepared any pudi and gave to
Hmm.
any of my patients. So
Proper research.
I thought that in the market.
Hmm.
So when I am using the market preparation, then I must be well aware about the process of preparation. So
Yes,
because
sir.
of I started working on the formulations. My first, as I told you, I had a curiosity that how our ancestors, old Ayurvedacharyas, they used to formulate these things
Hmm. Hmm.
because they were using the same drug, and for the different system they were using the same different formulation, like say ashwagandha.
Yes.
So ashwagandha is used at many places. But
Yes.
for say Amavata, rheumatoid arthritis like condition,
Hmm.
they prepared ashwagandha bubur.
Hmm.
Uh,
नेट चेक कीजिए बार बार जा रहे आ रहे प्रॉब्लम
for general debility like conditions,
यस सर so you
they
were talking
formulated ashwagandha.
about ashwagandha yeah
So this single herb ashwagandha is used in different formulation for a different purpose.
hmm.
So I tried to understand the logic behind that, and using that logic, I came up with the formulations. And
Hmm.
fortunately, now around 50 formulations are already in the market by different companies. That was my hobby to understand in Ayurveda for preparation of medicine and all, and how they used to prepare the combinations, and why one herb is mixed with the other one, and why it is not mixed with the other one. All these, there are many rules and regulations, and you can say precedents and traditions and experience noted for over years together. They are available in the form of the text. So that I studied, and then I gradually came into this field. And then I tried to study the developments in the pharmacy also, because
Hmm.
though formulations are old, the pharmacy is new. Now you go to any Ayurvedic pharmacy, they have a GMP norm, that good manufacturing practices. They are using the mechanized system for that from the laboratories. They are using different types of extracts, and so many things have changed in the pharmacy. So you have to go with the time. There is no alternative.
Absolutely, sir. And so there's also a myth in common man that Ayurveda treatment is a very slow process. What is the truth behind this myth?
I,
So,
yes,
am I,
please continue.
so I was saying there's a myth in common man that Ayurveda treatment is a very slow process. What is the truth behind this myth? So, am I
Which
audible?
one? Please,
So there's a myth
yes,
in a
please
common
repeat.
man that Ayurveda treatment is a very slow process. What is the truth behind this myth? We want to understand that.
You are not audible.
जी sir.
हाँ अभी सुनाई दे रहा है बोलिए.
Yeah. So I was asking you, there's a myth in a common man that Ayurveda treatment is a very slow process. What is the truth behind this myth?
No, I didn't understood.
Sir, there's a myth in common man that, am I audible first?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
you are audible now.
Yeah, so there's a myth in a common man that Ayurveda treatment is a very slow process. What is the truth behind this myth? सच्चाई क्या है सर इसके पीछे कि लोग जो कहते हैं कि आयुर्वेदा जो ट्रीटमेंट है वो बहुत ही स्लो प्रोसेस है? There's again a net issue.
Remain smart. Public is smart at large, and they know where to go for which disease.
सर फिर से
So
शुरू.
normally they are coming for. Now you are getting my voice.
Yes, now I'm getting your voice.
Yes. What I was telling is, people at large are always smart,
Yes.
and they know where to go for which treatment.
हाँ.
So normally, in last 50, 60 years, what I am observing is people are opting for chronic disorder Ayurveda for chronic disorders,
Yes.
and for acute disorders they are going to allopathy. That is what.
Yes.
For chronic disorders, then the time required will be always more than the acute disorder. But nowadays, in this era of the viruses, Ayurvedic medicine, they are also acting equally in short period. Means any viral infection like.
Sir, the voice. आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही.
Also you get cured within 5 days. So
Sir,
now it is actually a myth. It is not reality. Because if you are coming for a chronic disorder, then the time required will be more for the treatment. If you are coming for a shorter one, then it will be short time treatment.
Absolutely, sir. I think it is better sooner we adapt this Ayurveda medication than wait for some chronic disease. Even I'm a third time, I mean, I don't know whether I could say third time cancer survivor. I'm taking your medication itself. But I just had to run away from the hospital and come to you and take your medication. I'm so thankful to you. You have healed me so well. That's so amazing. Sir, am I audible, sir? Major internet issue, such one of. Am I audible, sir?
You are not audible.
Now?
Yes, now. Now
So,
audible.
yeah, so I was saying it is very important that, you know, jitna jaldi ho sake Ayurveda hi use kiya jaye medicine, because this doesn't actually have any side effect. And I have survived, I mean, I'm fighting cancer and I came to you and you have healed me so beautifully. I mean, imagine if a chronic disease like cancer can, you know, heal you so well. So, choti moti bimariyon ke liye, why go to even allopathy? And I'm so grateful and thankful to you, sir. Well, so again, there's an internet issue. So let me just get this fixed.
You are not audible, madam.
Yes.
Your voice is breaking.
So Shayad, because I think we have been monitoring on our Facebook as well. हमारी voice आ रही है वहाँ पे. Sorry to say, but आपके वहाँ से नेट का थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है.
नहीं.
आवाज ही नहीं आ रही है आपकी सर.
नहीं, यहाँ पर तो नेट अच्छा दिखा रहा है.
सेम यहाँ शायद होगा कोई टेक्निकल इशू. अब ठीक है आवाज अपनी. All right, moving on, sir. If you can hear me.
नहीं, अभी आपका ऑडिबल नहीं है. ब्रेक बहुत है.
अभी?
हाँ, अभी ठीक है.
Yeah. So you were elected as member.
फिर से गया.
Now?
मैं एक बार रीजॉइन करके देखूं क्या?
जी सर, just rejoin again, sir.
नहीं, सुना ही नहीं दे रहा. आपका माइक म्यूट है. योर
Sir,
माइक इज म्यूट.
I was talking to Akhilesh ji to fix the net. All right. So, am I audible now? Am I
May I
audible?
join one? Yes, now you are audible.
Sir, you were elected as member of CCIM of Maharashtra, and thereafter you became a president of CCIM, Central Council for Indian Medicine, the apex statutory body which functions to regulate the education of Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, and Sova Rigpa. What initiatives you took after becoming the president of this council for betterment of Ayurveda education system? Sir, over to you. System. So over to you. Sir, hello. Hello, sir.
Hello.
वीडियो ऑन कर लीजिए. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. Much better, finally.
Yes, yes.
So you were elected as member of CCIM of Maharashtra, and thereafter you became president of CCIM, that is the Central Council for Indian Medicine, the apex statutory body which functions to regulate the education of Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, and Sova Rigpa. What initiatives you took after becoming the president of this council for betterment of Ayurveda education system? Over to you.
Actually, the peculiarity of this Ayurveda, Unani, and Siddha and Sovarikpa is all these systems were transferred from Gurukul system to Kulaguru system. That is from Gurukul system to the university system. As you know, we call Kulaguru to a vice chancellor. So from Guru, they came under the vice chancellors. That is what they happened. In this journey, what we have lost is not recorded. That is one thing. Other thing is, when we change the education system, we have to change the frame of our education, because in Gurukul system, the scenario was different, and in the classroom teaching and all, students getting admitted in a college in a very big number, and a setup and hospital attached, and so many things are there in this system. So the main task for Ayurveda, Unani, and Siddha was to get adjusted with this new system. And last many years, say 50 years, many people they have tried for this. And the recent initiative which is actually going on, we are working on that is we are rearranging our syllabus as per these new norms of the university medicine, university education. That is one thing. For that we hired you call it education technologies. Because in professional education, we don't have education, neither in engineering, nor in medical, nor in Ayurveda, nor in Unani, Siddha, anywhere, or even in homeopathy. Because we are all professionals, and what is expected from us to see the patient, treat him properly as per our training, and give him relief. That is what we are being taught for years together. But we are not trained to think about how to deliver the education, how to make changes in that. So, in short, all these professional courses, they don't have any educationist of their own. So, what we do, they all are academicians. They have a great experience of, like me, if I would have been in teaching, मेरे को भी अभी 40 साल का 34-35 साल का टीचिंग का एक्सपीरियंस होता, but it is not there actually. So I decided to hire the people from outside, education technologists, and we hired these people from outside. And now our academicians, they are sitting.
Acha. When you say about outside, are you talking about international or from India?
No, they are not, they are local people. Means our country,
Yeah.
but they are not Ayurvedic people. Some of them, they are from the other branches, but they are trained in education technology. They are educationists in a way. So we are taking their help. That is one thing. Second thing is we are making our regulations very particular and precise, because we governed our education and practice and training. Everything is governed by the different regulations. So we are coming up with the details of each and everything. So recently we have, which is actually it has unfortunately become a controversial. Our regulation regarding surgery and ENT, that is Shalla and Chalakya. What we did is actually we restricted our people. We gave it in writing that for only these surgeries you can do, and the number is very small.
Okay.
59 we are allowing to all branches.
Yes.
But somehow, and they are doing it since last 25 years. Only we have regulated and we have restricted. So for me, it is unfortunate to have such controversy. But anyway, these types of initiatives also we are taking. And for our postgraduate, at postgraduate level, we have a dissertation and thesis like other branches. So recently, we have constituted a committee to prepare guidelines for our dissertation, because normally doctors are very well aware about the clinical work,
True.
but about the that laboratory work is very essential in Ayurveda.
True.
So, but we don't have specific guidelines for that till now, and most of them they are working with the hospital. Nobody goes to like no allopathy doctor goes to a molecular biology lab and doing something. It is unusual. Same is with Ayurveda. But what we are thinking is we should go to a chemistry lab, a chemical technology lab, maybe like material science lab, and they should work. So for that also, we hired scientists, means regular scientists from the field of biology. And hired means we have not exactly hired, but we incorporated them. And they are that committee is headed by a scientist, director grade scientist from the field of biology, and our people are. And they together they will decide now what all criteria should be fixed, and what all new things are expected, and how many work should be clinical, how many work should be laboratory based, and at what level. That you have to decide the level at postgraduate level. What is to be taught at undergraduate level? What is to be, there should be a difference between the UG, PG, and PhD level. That is what again we are doing, and such type of reforms they are going on, and uh, we have some other important subject like Samhita Adhyayan. So now we are going to have a teachers training program for teaching these types of subjects.
That's so
So
amazing.
these initiatives.
So do you also have this online or diploma courses in these kind of Ayurveda education, or it is just the institution university where we need to go and do the?
No, it is compulsory for us, and as per our act, that our all education means whatever we teach, it should be institutional.
Institutional.
You cannot teach a
Right.
because the important thing is skill and training. So that's why such type of courses are not there actually. But yes, in this new curriculum, what we are planning is we are planning for electives for our undergraduate students.
Okay.
So if a undergraduate student he want that I should understand something about artificial intelligence, then yes, we have क्योंकि वो तो आ ही रहा है ना अभी it is coming.
सारा डिजिटल हो गया काफी
So
good.
medical instrumentation, if somebody is interested, then he can opt for that. Like our pharmacy, we are using herbs.
Yes.
And if somebody want to understand the phytochemistry,
Yes.
then we are planning for elective for that. So he can go, he can do that online course, and a certificate will be generated, and accordingly, few marks he will get benefit in his examination based on that. That is what we are planning at differently.
Oh, that's a very insightful knowledge, sir. So before we go to the next question, I would want to understand. I mean, when we were talking about the myth about this Ayurveda treatment, which people usually have कि बहुत ही धीरे प्रोसेस होता है, एक बहुत ही ज़्यादा स्लो प्रोसेस होता है. आपने जब बताया कि ऐसा कोई है ही नहीं जो लोगों के अंदर माइंड में जो बैठी हुई बात है. So I was just saying, जैसे आपने बताया कि एक्यूरेट क्रॉनिक डिजीज के लिए काफी लोग आयुर्वेदा मेडिकेशन ले रहे हैं आजकल और नॉट फॉर द जनरल medication. So in fact, I was saying, I mean, I would want to thank you very much that here I am fighting with cancer, having your medicine, I'm under your treatment, and I'm healing so beautifully, sir. I've got this kind of amazing energy, and I'm so thankful to you, because when doctor have given up on me, you have kind of, I can just feel the immunity. I can feel so good within myself, in many aspect after having this Ayurveda medication. But it is very important for people to understand that जितना जल्दी हम लोग आयुर्वेदा मेडिकेशन अडॉप्ट करें उतना सही रहेगा. वो आपका क्या कहना है इसके बारे में, सर?
इसमें I have a little different viewpoint for this, because Ayurveda never says only about taking medicine. It is very clearly mentioned in Ayurveda is to maintain your health is the primary goal of Ayurveda.
Yes.
And while maintaining this health, if you are getting suffered with some disease, then yes, we have a provision. So basically, we are not a medical science as we are understanding today. We are a life science. That is what we say. Ayusho Veda, Ayurveda. It is the knowledge of life. So life doesn't include only medicine and only disease. So the important part of Ayurveda is to maintaining our health, and that starts from childhood. There are many do's and don'ts. There are many do's and don'ts. There are many advices about diet. There are even advices about exercise. There are even advices about the rejuvenation therapy. There are advices regarding the daily regime and seasonal regime. What all changes you have to make in your lifestyle when season changes. In how many days you have to change. Like that, so many instructions are there in Ayurveda. And
So when you're saying about the diet and all, there are a lot of other restrictions while having this medicine. How important it is to follow the diet, because usually लोग कहते हैं चलता है यार, तो वो चलता है वाला एटीट्यूड नहीं होना चाहिए.
वो कैसा है कि हमारे ग्रंथ में एक सुंदर श्लोक है. वो कहता है कि आहार संभवम वस्तु रोगश्च आहार संभव.
Yes.
यानी ये जो शरीर है वो भी आहार से बना हुआ है, ये रोग भी आहार से ही होते हैं.
बिल्कुल.
फिर फर्क कहाँ है? तो वो आगे बोलता है कि हितकर आहार लोगे तो स्वास्थ्य का रक्षण होगा, अहितकर आहार लोगे तो रोग होगे. तो दोनों चीजें यानी एक ही चीज से बनी है. रोग भी आहार से ही बने हैं और आपका स्वास्थ्य भी आहार से बना है. So it is our duty to look into this matter very seriously. And not only Ayurveda. Nowadays, everybody is talking about diet. And the many diet plans are coming up, even with the modern dietitian and modern science that you all know. Different type of deficiencies and weight loss plans and weight reduction plan and cholesterol reduction plan and so many things are there related to that.
या मैं यही समझना चाहती थी, जब आपको डॉक्टर कहते हैं कि आप ये आयुर्वेदा मेडिकेशन लेना है और इसमें आपको ये डाइट फॉलो करनी है, तो कभी कभी लोग चुक जाते हैं कि कहते हैं नहीं चलता है, एटीट्यूड रहता है, वो डाइट नहीं लेते तो चलता है. तो जरूरी होता है जब आप वो आयुर्वेदा मेडिकेशन ले रहे हो तो आपको वो डाइट फॉलो करनी ही है.
जी जी जी. उसके दो कारण हैं. आजकल यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड अबाउट गट माइक्रोबायोटा. That is a new branch, and you must have heard about the fecal transplant. Because nowadays, what scientists are saying is we have a gut brain. एक ब्रेन तो हमारे जो सर में है वो तो एक है, हमारे पेट में भी एक ब्रेन है, और कई जो डिसीजंस है वो पेट अपने आप लेता है. दैट इज व्हाट द जनरल कंसर्न is. And there was an interesting experiment, I think almost 10 years back, and it is popularly known as fecal transplant. What that scientist did is he cleaned the bowel of a patient who was suffering from a very deadly and very uncommon disease, and there was no treatment for that. And what he did is he simply gave the capsules of the fecal matter of a healthy person to that man. So his whole the flora of the intestine was flooded with the healthy bacteria, and that man cured. That is what the observation. So it is called a fecal transplant. You can Google and you will find this word. And after that, all these scientists, they started running after this gut microbiota anything. And nowadays it is a key word in not only in microbiology but even in medicine. And they are suggesting many medicines. And in Ayurveda also we are advising the cleaning of the bowel by different panchakarma procedures, and we have different bastis, and we have woman and Virachan, and so many things are there with the different medicinal material. Means even these basti, they are in thousands for different disease conditions. So when such a vast information or knowledge base is available, then I advise people opt for it.
And in fact, a lot of people from abroad, I mean foreigners also, they are adopting to this Ayurveda lifestyle now.
Yes, but they are following it very meticulously, not like our Indian people.
Yes, yes, very meticulously. Absolutely agree with you, sir. So, well, so what is the contemporary science of Ayurveda?
See, being a very old science or a shastra, we say, because science has a limitation. Shastra has a little bit broad spectrum. So, means over a period of time, many sciences means were contemporary to Ayurveda. Like olden days, that Gandha Shastra, that is on which I
Hmm.
worked recently. Since last 17 years, I was working on that. It is a ancient Indian science of cosmetology and perfumery.
Hmm,
That
hmm,
is
hmm,
called Gandha Shastra.
hmm.
So, what Ayurveda did is the clinical cosmetology he took from that Gandha Shastra. So, once upon a time, that was a contemporary science of Ayurveda. Mathematics was a
Hmm.
contemporary science of Ayurveda. In India, even this, we call it Paka Shastra, that is
Yes.
related to diet, dietetics. It is still we are having. I saw a few years back a bibliography which shows nearly 2,600 independent old texts only on Pakashastra by
Oh,
different names. Huh? And you must have heard that Bhima in Mahabharata, he was
yes.
a very good cook, and he was there in that Drupad Raja's kitchen.
Hmm.
Even this Nalapaka Darpan is wrote by King Nala, that Nala Damayanti, you must, he wrote a book on it. And there are many, even in 12th century, there one Raja Somadev was there. He wrote a book, Avileshatartha Chintamani,
Hmm.
and that is the encyclopedic work. And in that he wrote many things about how means which water a king should drink, how to eat, how to take bath, how to wash hands, and so many small things he has written
Please.
regarding this.
Wow.
So there is a vast. So that was also a contemporary science of Ayurveda at that time. I had again out of curiosity, I had a question in my mind that how these ancient sages happened to know the medicinal properties of plants without understanding the structure or
Exactly.
botany in today's
Exactly.
language. So I searched for that and I found many references of botany from many ancient texts. In those days, they may not be saying it botany or Vanaspati Shastra, but references are there, like for a very simple thing that how a root takes water from the soil.
Oh,
So there are 5 or 6 theories described in Mahabharata Shanti Parva
okay.
that Bhishma told, I think, Yudhishthira regarding this. So
Yes.
he must be aware of that. There must be some mechanism that a root is taking water, how it takes root from the, how a root takes water from the soil or nutrients from the soil, like that. So they have classified these plants in different categories, and they named those and so many things. So I was searching for that, and I found so many references on ancient Indian botany, zoology. Like there are many references of animals
Hmm.
in Ayurveda, and I found it is called Mrugapakshi Shastra,
Ah,
and Mrugapakshi Shastra is study on animals and birds.
yes.
So they have described 12 types of कौवे,
हाँ,
12 प्रकार के कौवे बताए
अरे
उन्होंने.
बाप रे! हम तो एक ही
हाँ,
देखते हैं।
तो हम तो एक ही देखते हैं, पहचानते भी हैं. ज्यादा से ज्यादा कोई बोलता है कि ये जंगल में मिलता है और we don't know, but they describe well.
Yeah.
So like that, those were the contemporary sciences of Ayurveda, and out of that, this Gandha Shastra I have completed, and this Ahar Shastra I again wrote a book on that. But in recent time, I found that mathematics is again having a great contribution in Ayurveda. So myself and one of my teacher,
Hmm.
Dr. Sahin Oakley, very old. She taught me anatomy when I was in college. We worked together on this, and we wrote a book in 2005 and on mathematics in Ayurveda. And in 2013, there was a reprint of that book. And after that, again, I worked on that and I developed some theories. And in this Gandha Shastra also, I found a lot of mathematics.
Wow.
Only mathematical calculation.
So you have
So,
a vast knowledledge in this whole Ayurveda and all of mathematics. What is this all mathematics? Ayurveda mathematics? कभी सुना नहीं है इतना.
yes, nobody, because that we were the first, means we are the first
Wow.
to explore this. And we came up with a book also.
बताइए
And we have
इसके बारे में.
some hypotheses, some theories. So now we are searching for a mathematician because we want a mathematical proof for this hypothesis.
Okay.
So if we, because hypothesis will be verified only by the proof.
Okay.
So we are searching for, and we are not mathematicians. We have references. Yes, we have references.
But you have written a book as well.
Huh?
You have written a book as well.
Sorry?
आपने
Yes, yes, yes.
किताब भी लिखी.
किताब भी लिखी है.
Wow.
किताब भी.
कुछ किताब के बारे में बताइए. So बहुत सारी क्यूरियोसिटी हो रही है हमें.
That mathematics in Ayurveda is basically what means I understood during my study of the Samhita, that the Ayurveda is not in a sense a clear-cut biological science. They were using some mathematical method to establish many things in Ayurveda. So I was searching for the statements they have made in the form of slokas. That they are saying, there is one shloka that there they are saying from Bengal to China, they say from Bengal to China. Means that time there were many countries in between, and they named all those. And Chin is called Chin, even 2000 years back. So in this area, that time people used to eat salt with milk.
Oh.
So when they are mixing salt with the milk, what all diseases are happening in that area is the statement.
Oh.
How this statement can come up without study, without statistics, without survey.
True.
Another statement is regarding the rivers. Some rivers, they are flowing towards east and some are flowing towards west.
Yes.
So they have described the peculiarities of the flow. That is the gross generalization actually. And they have written that on the people who are living on the bank of these rivers, they may suffer from these diseases.
Oh.
So what type of that type of statement?
That's amazing.
There is another gross generalization that we call it Desh. Desh is geoclimatic condition. And they have given some characters of each. We call it Anup, Jungle and Sadhara. And in our treatment, that person, he belongs to which Desha is very important from treatment point of view. So once I was sitting in my clinic and a remote sensing satellite scientist, he came for a treatment. Then this question was there in my mind, and I asked, this is the description, can you help me? I don't know how, whether it is correct or not. First, that I want to confirm because this is 2000 years old. So he came with the appointment, he sat with me, and as per his based on his knowledge, I explained him what is written in the text in Sanskrit, and then he took notes. And after a few weeks, he came up with a same map of Maharashtra, showing that these are the places of Anupa type, these are the places of Jungle type, and these are the places of Sadharan type of Maharashtra only, which are visible from the satellite. And after that, I use this technique with the Google map, because that satellite imaging is very costly. It is not affordable to a person like us, and it is governed by the government. So we use this our Google map. From there, we verified that what is described there is correct even today.
Wow. So I'm getting goosebumps.
Yes.
Seriously, this is so interesting. Wow, we never heard about all this.
Yes. So the main point is all this is possible only with the help of mathematics.
Yeah. So,
You cannot do.
what is the name of your book, and is it available in Amazon, or how do we get it?
Yes, yes, it is available. The name of the book is Mathematics in Ayurveda.
Acha, mathematics in Ayurveda itself.
That
Okay,
is simple.
wonderful. I'll definitely buy that. So, moving further, what is the basic thought process behind Ayurveda health science, which has thought of by our ancient founder of Ayurveda?
That is what personally I feel is it is based on mathematics
Hmm.
or even the descriptions of the plants and the physiology and so many that Vata Pitta Kapha and all and Panchamahabhut Siddhanta basically are based on the physical properties.
Hmm.
There is very little about chemistry part. So
Hmm.
personally, many times I teach to my students who come to my clinic that as allopathy is based on biochemistry, Ayurveda might be based on the biophysics and as I say, mathematics. So basically, it depends on the calculations and all. So, and even in Gandha Shastra, this I found, even in Ahar Shastra, what I found, that they are using calculations. They are calculating. So they are not using very high mathematics. Very
Wow.
simple mathematics. Maximum height of there is permutation and combination. Beyond that, I don't understand also whether they have used it or not. But whatever they use, the use of mathematics is very brilliant, very brilliant. Means, and what I personally feel is basically Indian thought process is basically a mathematical. It is not like the other thought process which we are thinking that biological processes
Hmm.
and that reductionist approach we must have. That holistic approach can come only with the mathematics. I will give you an example that in many places that many our old Vedas they used to say
Um,
that the Ayurveda is Shashwat. Shashwat means it will not change. So this why it is my question is if the science is changing every day, then why not Ayurveda? My practice is changing every day, then why Ayurveda is not changing? That was the
Absolutely.
basic questions in my mind. But
Hmm.
after this study, what I understood is the fundamental principles of Ayurveda they are based on mathematics. That's why they see 2000 साल पहले भी 1 + 1 = 2 था.
बिल्कुल.
2000 साल बाद भी 1 + 1 = 2 ही रहने वाला है.
हाँ, हाँ, हाँ.
So the things which are based on mathematics will never change, the particularly fundamental principle.
Yes, yes.
So that's why they might have said in that content that what,
Yeah.
but the practice may change, the new instruments may come tomorrow, this AI may enter in that, and many things may happen. But the fundamental principles which are based on mathematics will remain there only, and they
Very
what
accurate.
I
Yeah,
understand,
yeah.
and that is the
Mhm.
basically.
So, having said that, so what do you comment on practice of allopathic by BAMS doctors, BAMS, so what you call as Bachelor of Ayurvedic Medicine and Surgery?
That is another problem for us, and we are also concerned as a Ayurvedic physician and now as the chairman of
Mm,
Board of Governors, Central Council of Indian
mm,
Medicine. But my analysis of this problem is a little bit different than the other people. When I was studying when I was reading all these documents for and was preparing for this book on the education, what I found is when the state governments they were in short of the allopathic physician, they started using Ayurveda physician in their place.
mm.
For that, they changed their regulation.
Oh,
And even now in 13 state government, they have changed their regulations and they allowed Ayurveda practitioners to practice allopathy.
mm.
So, but see, like in state like Kerala, it is not required. There is a state act because as per our constitution of India, health comes under state.
Yes.
Uh, so the health has state has a main role in this.
जी, जी, जी.
Because of their requirement, they allow these people to practice allopathy. Then what happened? There was a demand that you include these things in your syllabus, you include that thing of allopathy in that syllabus. Unfortunately, to some extent, our syllabus was gradually, the word is not correct, but corrupted.
Correct.
There was a intellectual corruption in our. Corruption is not always with money.
Absolutely.
With your
Absolutely.
thoughts and your intellect, and so I am very much worried about the stand of the state government, and that's why these things that become a precedence. And then these people, when they got the authority, they started doing that. Because to do allopathy practice is little bit easier than doing Ayurveda practice. That is
Absolutely, absolutely.
what my it is for making easy money. But
Easy.
yes, if they don't allow, then they will surely. अभी मैं देख रहा हूँ नए बच्चे जो है, they are opting for Ayurvedic practice because there is more money in that Panchakarma setup, these medicines and all. They are getting more money than a general practitioner who is using allopathy. That's why they are opting. But this type of practice is little bit difficult.
आयुर्वेदा की डिमांड बहुत बढ़ गई है सर ग्लोबली.
जी जी जी.
जो भी इंडिया आता है वो भी वही कहता है पहले आयुर्वेदा के बारे में बताओ, आपके जो एशियन प्रैक्टिस है उसके बारे में बताओ, योगा भी ले लीजिए आप, उसमें नेचुरोपैथी भी ले लीजिए आप इस पे. तो काफी सारी चीजें लोग पीपल वांट टू गेट इंक्लाइन टू द नेचर इटसेल्फ.
Yes, it is true. And the states like Switzerland, they have changed their act. And they allowed Ayurveda practitioners to practice in Switzerland. They made it official. In many European countries, these Ayurvedic people, they are going, they are practicing. And in many places, there are Ayush chairs by Government of India.
That's wonderful.
And in many universities. So like that, the demand is increasing, no doubt.
Yes, demand.
People are coming here. In Jamnagar University, there is a provision for foreign students to get admitted in BAMS course.
Wow, that's amazing.
They are coming to do BAMS here, and not only country like Sri Lanka and Nepal and Bangladesh. I saw a student, Japanese student, in Jamnagar. He came from Japan.
Wow.
To become a BAMS graduate. Wow. And recently in one webinar I saw him. He is practicing there in Japan.
Yes, they are indeed practicing this. And in fact, they say, well, Japan, they are the people who are into, those green teas and whatever they're having it. And after every meal, you're supposed to have warm water. हमारे आयुर्वेदा में भी कहते हैं. But they're already practicing over there in Japan. Well, so.
And now their students are coming over here to study the Ayurveda official.
In depth of
institutionally qualified.
Yes. So what do you think? This is a very last question. I know it's a very busy schedule you have, but what do you think is the contribution of Ayurveda in managing human health in times ahead?
The basic thing is now that prevention, like we have faced this COVID pandemic, and what we have learned is the immunity is the best weapon to fight with this type of infection than the medicine. And what we are seeing in India, that the people here, they are accustomed with taking many of the Ayurvedic medicine, even as a part of their lifestyle, like Chyawanprash. Everybody takes Chyawanprash here, even from a poorer person to a rich man. And they at least consume one bottle of Chyawanprash every year. So that immunity part is there, and Ayurveda is there to contribute in a very big way, number one. Second is this aging. Nowadays, everywhere, nobody dies early. Or one of my senior physicians, he used to say, he was a neurologist, very famous neurologist. And he used to say, हम लोग तो आपको ठीक से मरने भी नहीं देंगे. That was used to say. So now we have a long life, and this long life is basically in old age. So to keep yourself healthy, when you are old is another challenge world is facing in the way that is their problem.
True.
Now the Indian population is younger one, but after coming 20 years, they are going to become older one. So again, same challenges we are going to face.
Hmm.
So to have a healthy old age,
Hmm.
that in that area also Ayurveda can help if you start from now itself.
Hmm.
And these rasayanas different, and these immunity boosting materials and the anti-aging drugs. There are many anti-aging procedures, and so many things are there to offer in Ayurveda. And our Ayurvedic physicians, they are ready with all things. Now it is up to society how they are going to adapt this and with which style. Because now in my practice, many people they come every year for Panchakarma to me. They are very regular. Their months are decided.
The
They come over here.
Panchakarma has to be done physically, right, sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. So you also practice Panchakarma, and
Yes, I have a small unit of Panchakarma people.
that's amazing. Wow. And amidst COVID, sir, any immunity booster medication without any prescription, if people can take? I know, I don't know whether I
That,
can ask this question, but I'm just asking you.
no, that Tinospora pardifolia, Guduchi or Guduvel,
क्या
that
है?
is the best one.
उड़ू-
Guduchi, Guduchi, Tinospora pardifolia.
How do you spell that?
Guduchi.
Guduchi.
Chi.
Guduchi.
Guduchi.
Acha.
हाँ.
So this is
So,
something.
yes, that is a single herb, and you can get it in market is flooded with this drug, and you will get almost 10,000 research papers on this single herb when you will search in the PubMed or anywhere. This is extensively searched Ayurveda herb, and this can be taken, and that immunity boosting properties are very well established in the labs also, and it is in practice since last of years. So
Wow.
we can rely on that. Personally, I am taking that only.
Okay, so I think I am going to start this with your permission, of course. Yeah. So thank you so much for this wonderful input. We have learned a lot about you in just few minutes. Your noble thoughts and initiatives are just so inspiring. I am actually getting goosebumps. So जैसे ये सुन रही हूँ, I never thought Ayurveda was such a vast subject, and there's so much to learn and so much to adopt. So now moving on to a quick fun part of it, rapid fire. I will not take much time of yours. Who inspires you the most?
My mother,
Okay. And what
no
is the
more.
greatest me? Yeah. And so what is the greatest risk you have ever taken?
Actually, I am an ordinary person, middle class man. So, how a middle class man take a very big risk? But yes, you can say that when I contested this CCIM president election, that was the biggest risk in my life.
And here we
Because
had
it has changed my whole scenario. I became all India figure all of a sudden after winning that.
that of,
Otherwise, I was a practitioner.
but so that of course comes with a lot of experience, your efforts, your time, your decade of maybe to almost now 4 decades of your experience. यहाँ तो होना ही था, and may you rise and shine more.
Yes.
So, what is the most memorable moment of your life?
When not you can say period when I was in Kerala and working with the tribals there, that I enjoyed like anything. I still remember
Okay.
that
Uh,
working.
so, if
I
you
was working
share
in
something.
that Vivekananda Medical Mission Hospital,
Hmm.
and that was really as a volunteer. I was not employed.
Okay.
So it was really great days for me.
That's amazing. So, are you also doing a lot of work for in CSR activity for our tribals, especially our women?
Not now. That time I was doing.
Okay.
After coming here for a few years, I was working with the in nearby one Hingana village is there. There Dhangarpura is there.
Hmm.
Shepherds. They, and there I was running a clinic with an NGO for few years, 3 years again. But after that, because of this practice and my association with this organization, Ayurved Vyaspeeth, and then these elections and all, now I am more an administrator than a physician.
But you're serving a larger purpose, sir.
Maybe that time will decide.
You are. So I would also want to understand, is CCIM also into some CSR activities in terms of Ayurveda? So if
No.
no,
They
no,
only govern education.
that's it. Okay. And so if you could change one thing about your life, what would it be?
It is basically the time management for my study. Because what I understood is the knowledge is vast.
अभी भी
This
पढ़ना है,
vast word is also again a not.
अभी भी पढ़ना
अभी
है.
भी पढ़ना है, अभी भी पढ़ना है. That I have to get that mathematical proof for my hypothesis.
So I think आप वो करके ही रहोगे.
मालूम नहीं.
नहीं नहीं होगा गणपति बप्पा मोरिया, और फिर उसके बाद और एक इंटरव्यू जरूर करूंगी. So, place where you love being the most.
Please repeat.
Place where you love being the most. आपको कौन सी ऐसी जगह अच्छी लगती है जहाँ पे आप रहना चाहते हो? Like for me, I would love to be Himalayas or home, या कहाँ पे आपको अच्छा लगता है ज्यादा, सबसे ज्यादा रहना?
नहीं, ये एक secluded जगह में रहना मेरे को बहुत अच्छा लगता है. I had been to a place in Western Ghats, a small village, and I stayed there for 3-4 days when I was in Kerala. So just for a change, and I enjoyed like anything. Means after so many years, still I am remembering that.
Oh wow, I'm sure, sir. Sir, and what is your favorite hobby?
Reading.
Yeah, I'm sure that had to come. And the very last question, if you were to be the prime minister for a day, what is the first thing you would do?
In one day, we cannot do anything. That I understood very well. Now, since last more than 2 years, I am chairman and president. Very few things I am in a position to change. One day, nobody can do it.
Sir, would you want to give any message to our organization, Social Tables?
To create awareness, means in real sense, to create awareness regarding our health and regarding our lifestyle and Ayurveda, that you should go with, because there are many misconceptions, misunderstandings regarding lifestyle, and now this our WhatsApp University is there. Yes. It is continuously pouring information, pseudo-scientific information. So we don't have any mechanism. We have not trained our children or the coming generation how to sort it out, how to find out whether this is pseudo-scientific information or this is true. So that type of work, if we can do, will be of great help. Otherwise, there are many wrong news about Ayurveda. Means be hyping anything beyond its limit is again the wrong thing. It may be about Ayurveda. तो वो तो सही नहीं है. वो आयुर्वेद के बारे में इतनी ऊंची चीज कुछ तो भी बोल देता है कि जो आयुर्वेद वाले ने भी 2000 साल में बोली नहीं, ये बोल देता है.
Absolutely true, sir. Absolutely. I think we should, do a lot of these kind of series and promote Ayurveda as well. So this is very important, which I will definitely talk to you about it. So that was such an amazing response and so quick. Before we conclude, a few words of wisdom or advice would you like to give our audience?
Wisdom comes very late. Actually, it is like a triangle. First, there is a information. When that information get organized, we call it database. Then with database, we go a little up, and then comes the knowledge. And when knowledge get ripens, then comes the wisdom. So it is a it is a very long process to get a wisdom, particularly in a subject. So for a person like me to say the word of wisdom is really difficult. But I can share an experience with you that what I learned from my experiences, because everybody has his own experience.
Yes, sir.
That doing things without expectations keeps you happy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Totally agree with you,
If
sir.
you start expecting, then that sorrow comes. वो
Ab-
जो दुख है वो आते रहता है. If you don't expect and you live, तो वो अच्छा रहता है.
कर्म करते जाओ और फल की चिंता मत करो.
हाँ.
Yes. Yeah. So, well, that's it for today. Thank you so much. And let me take an opportunity to give you a vote of thanks. It's such a great honor and privilege to propose vote of thanks to Sri Vedya Jayanti Dio Pujari ji, who, despite his busy schedule, has found time to grace this special interaction. We are extremely grateful to you, sir, for sharing your words of encouragement and giving us valuable inputs. Your eminent presence has indeed made this interaction a memorable one, and we unite to thank you from our bottom of our heart for your kindness, interest, and support. We wish you all the very best in your future endeavors. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, madam, and thank you to all audience for bearing me. Thank you very much.
अभी would love to bear you more because जैसे आप बात कर रहे थे हमें और ज्यादा इसके बारे में जानकारी जाननी है. We'll definitely take up the series. Take care, sir. Stay safe.
Thank you. शुरू में